Life is rough, but I'm so fortunate to have met you. By Orphaned Account on AU3. Episode 5, Chapter 4. A brisket, a tasket, we didn't use our picnic basket. With Recovery Girl's assistance, and boy was Izuku devastated when the boy heard he slept through the youthful heroine's visit, Izuku was completely healthy by the time Monday and school rolled around. And to Shota's and Hisashi's collective relief, the rest of the week seemed to fly by with no incidents whatsoever. Izuku didn't say anything concerning about his father, and the boy that was bullying him at school seemed to be laying off a bit. Or at least, Kachan was laying off on the physical side, but Izuku hadn't seemed sad that week either. If anything, with each ramping day towards the child's birthday, Izuku became more and more eager. By the time Saturday rolled around, the boy was vibrating with excitement, jumping on the balls of his feet as he grabbed Teddy's leash and harness from the hallway closet for his own accord. "Come on, Mr. Sashi!" Izuku thrilled. "We're going to the park, all together!" The child finished off his sentence with a noise that made him sound like a sentient screeching kettle. Hisashi couldn't help but laugh. Shota may have still been in bed, but Hisashi couldn't bring himself to tell Izuku to quiet down or calm down. Not when he hadn't seen the boy so excited since months earlier when Shota finally bit the bullet and allowed Izuku to question him about his quirk. They found out that the child was eager little quirk analyst then, as Izuku scribbled in small fonts as he could in the notebook trying to convey pages of more analysis. "It's only 9 in the morning, kiddo," Hisashi teased. "Although we could do brunch instead of lunch, if you're ready to go." "Yes!" Izuku all but screeched, earning a loud groan from the bedroom. Hisashi chuckled, shaking his head as his husband slumped into the doorway, wearing his favorite pink sweatpants and a long-sleeve "Put Your Hands Up" radio t-shirt. "What time is it?" Shota slurred as he stumbled into the kitchen, groping around the cabinets for a mug. He missed when he went to pour his coffee, and Izuku dutifully trotted over to the man and took over making Shota's coffee for him, while the hero glared at the spill on the counter. Hisashi rolled his eyes, because really, people said he was the dramatic one in the relationship, as he tossed a towel over his husband for the mess to be cleaned up. Shota huffed, and did so half-heartedly, as Hisashi spoke. "It's time enough for you two to get showered and ready, mister. We have brunch today." "At the park!" Izuku cheered, still vibrating in excitement, and sloshing hot coffee around in his mug. Somehow, not spilling a drop, as he turned to Shota. "With Mr. Teddy, and you, and Mr. Sashi, and me, and—" Shota groaned, taking the mug from Izuku and downing it a few meter gulps. "Kid, I love you, but please use your inside voice, at least until I'm on my second mug of coffee." Hisashi stilled, grateful that Izuku was facing somewhat away from him so he could briefly stare at the boy's reaction at Shota's words. Sure enough, Izuku had caught on to what Shota had missed in his sleep-addict state, and the child's ears and face turned a hot red shade that clashed with dark green hair. I... Izuku stated, then made the same kettle-like noise from earlier as Shota slumped off to the bathroom to get ready. Hisashi quickly took pity on the boy, drawing Izuku's attention to the picnic basket that he dug out from their storage closet off to the side of the balcony. He had to dust it off, and had shrieked loud enough to wake the neighbors when he seen a spider inside of it. But Shota had taken care of that, after changing out the lining of said basket with a fresh green and print cloth. And no, it didn't look tacky. Shota, it looked cute. The basket was ready to be loaded up with food. However, Hisashi had not yet asked Izuku what kind of food he wanted for the picnic. Of course, the man mentioned finger sandwiches and cakes and such, and Izuku was surely an easy child to please, but Hisashi wanted this to be perfect. It wasn't every day that your child turned 9, after all. And, oof, Hisashi had to bite the inside of his cheek at that thought. If Izuku could hardly take hearing Shota say that he loved the kid, then surely the boy wouldn't be able to stand hearing Hisashi's thoughts on parenting. Because that's what they were doing, right? It had been months, and they still hadn't seen nor heard of the oh-so-exclusive Mr. Midoriya. Hisashi had a worrying theory going on his head, and yet to share it with his husband, but he knew that Shouta was likely thinking the same. What, with the man's exclusive underground experiences? Shouta had a kind of radar for trouble that Hisashi was jealous of. Rather than finding villains and criminals himself, trouble seemed to find Hisashi. But Shouta seemed to be a freaking doppel for villains and stray cats and problem children and all the sorts. That being said, Hisashi had an eye. He could observe that things were not right in the Midoriya household. If there even was a household to begin with. Quickly, Hisashi shook his head. Today was not the day for those thoughts. There would always be tomorrow to fix Izuku's situation, because today was their day of celebration and joy and laughter. He accepted nothing else for his child. Except of dwelling, Hisashi cleared his throat and asked, "What do you want for brunch, kiddo?" After making finger sandwiches, he planned for Izuku had apparently been looking forward to those after all, and cut some vegetables and fruits into little stars and rabbits, because Izuku reminded him of a rabbit with the way the child was hopping around the kitchen excitedly, yammering on about the newest hero fight he'd seen on the news. Hisashi went to grab the cake from the fridge. He picked it up from the fancy bakery nearby his hero agency the day before, special ordering it in a week in advance, flashing his hero ID unabashedly at the short table tap. Because Izuku would have the perfect birthday, damn it. And had to eat away his husband's sticky little fingers when the man saw it, because who could have known that strawberry jam would be Shota's and Izuku's favorite? Izuku's eyes lit up at the little frosted flowers in the cake, and he made a noise of awe when Hisashi took the basket cover off the tray. "We can't fit the whole cake in the basket," the man explained. "But we'll be sure to bring some of it. The rest you can have for dessert later this week, okay?" "Uh-huh," Izuku chirped back, nodding enthusiastically as Hisashi giggled. The child looked like a bobblehead with all his excitement. A firm yet gentle hand on the top of the child's head stopped his nodding. Shouta had just emerged from the bathroom, fully clothed with his damp hair pulled into a low ponytail. His eyes rolled. "Stop that, Sprout. You'll give yourself whiplash." He turned to his husband. Shouta gave Hisashi a peck on the cheek before looking back at Izuku. "You two ready?" "Just need to grab my shoes and jacket," Hisashi confirmed, sharing a knowing glance with his husband about the packages they'd lovely wrapped and tucked away in their bedroom closet, away from where Izuku would be able to see them until the timing was right. "Be right back, and don't eat the cake yet, Sho." "Mm-hmm. I mean it, Shouta." Shouta turned to Izuku and rolled his eyes, throwing a thumb backwards at Hisashi as the voice hero went to grab his things. Izuku giggled, then began rambling once more, this time about some up-and-coming hero named Mirko that Shouta had only briefly heard of, while Shouta went about finishing packing some water bottles. Shortly thereafter, the trio, plus Teddy, began making their way towards the park. Shouta held onto Teddy's leash while his husband took the admittedly heavier picnic basket, earning him a side-eye from his husband. Izuku, in a great show of stamina, skipped a little over halfway there, weaving in and out between Hisashi's and Shota's slow-walking forms. Teddy was getting worked up at the boy's antics, making low boofs as Izuku giggled and pet the dog's ears before sprouting off again. In fact, Hisashi was absolutely positive that Izuku was going to skip the entire way to the park. Or at least he was, until Shouta sighed heavily, handing Teddy's leash over and stepping forward easily to snatch Izuku out of the thin air, tossing the child over his shoulder with ease that could have only come from practice. And yet Shouta looked like a complete natural, unable to hide his smile for his lack of capture scarf as Izuku clutched his hair, shrieking with mirthful giggles. Hisashi wished he had a free hand to take a picture, because with the sun shining, a gentle summer breeze blowing, the two most important people in his life, how could this moment be anything but picture perfect? And then it happened. It had been Hisashi who suggested they go the long way, around the market and through an alley. Sure, it would add a bit to their walk, but the marketplace would be crowded and bustling mid-morning on a Saturday. And so Shouta had readily agreed, promising to keep an eye on for signs of Izuku tiring. But what with the boy's usual intensive workout, Hisashi wasn't too worried. And the fact that the outskirts of the marketplace were usually desolate were comforting too. They wouldn't have to worry about Izuku running off into a crowd. With 2 pro heroes and a collective near 15-year-old hero work between them, one would have thought they would be more careful. But Shouta was distracted with Izuku pulling on his hair, trying to hide his growing grin from the child as Izuku kicked at his chest, blabbering on about heroes again. Hisashi had endured long and rambunctious patrols for the past 3 nights, and Hisashi knew his husband had hardly a full night's rest between the past 72 hours. Shouta was operational, but only barely, and his tiredness from being awoken early wasn't doing him any favors either. And Hisashi had Teddy and the picnic basket in hand, his focus solely on his doting husband and the kid who was quickly becoming theirs. With Eraserhead and present Mike, it shouldn't have happened. But it did. Before either hero could react, 2 figures appeared in front of them. Another 2 behind. All of the figures were dressed much too heavy and darkly for the summer heat. And Hisashi knew immediately that they were trying to hide weapons. Wallets. One of the men in front of them, a red-haired man, with glowing red eyes, snapped. "And that pretty watch of yours, Blondie." Shouta had tensed up as soon as the 4 criminals appeared, his clutch on Izuku's legs tightening, painfully tight. Izuku wiggled, whimpering in fear, and Shouta forced himself to loosen his grip ever so slightly. Behind the hero, Teddy had tensed up and was growling at the snake-faced woman and the lion-maned man that had appeared behind them. His hackles raised, and for once in his life, Hisashi froze. He hadn't frozen in the face of danger ever since he was a child. All nobly nimmed and rosy-cheeked, muzzled for his own good. But now, staring at his husband and child, noting the worry in Shota's eyes and the utter terror on Izuku's face, Hisashi couldn't help but hesitate. Only for a moment. It was just a single fucking moment. A moment too long, because the snake-faced woman hissed, and something about the noise set Teddy off. The dog rushed at her, chomping sharp canine teeth down her wrist, and she shrieked. And then it happened. Okay, so I know what's gonna happen, but y'all don't know what's gonna happen, so me leaving it here is absolutely diabolical and funny. Now, the reason why I'm spacing it out right here is because if I do any longer, it would be really long of a video, so I do that often. 25, anything more than 25 minutes, like 26, right, or 25 itself, depending on the day, is if I split it. If it's 25, and I'm ahead of schedule, I'll just go ahead and do the 25, but if it's 26, I'll split it up into 2s. 2 13-minute video each, right? But I do that for my sanity, because I'm not going to be doing 30-minute videos. I already do 3 uploads a day, and not happening. I love you guys, but not happening, right? You guys get spoiled as it is. You get 20-minute videos each, right? And I have no idea how the fuck Put Your Hands Up Podfic did it, where they uploaded literally 2 to 5 videos a day, depending on the rotation, and it would be like long-ass videos too sometimes. So like, I know where to draw the line so I don't burn out and shit. So I can continuously give you guys 3 uploads daily. And so far, it has been 23 years of posting every single day. Not 3 videos every day. I did fumble once, but in my defense, CapCut was gone and I was like fully crashing out. Like I was hella crashing out. Like I don't think you understand how long I crashed out. Like that shit was, I was crashing. And technically speaking, CapCut was still gone even as TikTok came back. So I'm pretty sure it's back. I think my VPN is on America. Yeah, so it's back. I had to check. I was like, it's my VPN in America? So yeah. Anyways, I have a VPN now. I literally bought a VPN because I was crashing out. Like, I was literally crashing. Like, I was foaming at the mouth, crashing. So, yeah. Anyways. Foaming at the mouth, crashing. There's not much to say. So, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, drink your meds. What? No. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server, merch shop, and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.